little bit about the organizers. MIDP. MIDP is Malaysia's leading soft skills education institution. Founded back in 2010, they are motivated by the passion to improve soft skill literacy and accessibility in Malaysia through debating, public speaking, storytelling, poetry, drama, Model United Nations, and others. To date, MIDP have empowered more than 12,000 students and 1,200 education institutions across Malaysia. They are recognized as an expert on soft skills education by various stakeholders, including Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Talent Corp Malaysia, and many others. To learn more about what MIDP does, please enjoy this short video featuring the kids at MIDP.
Are you guys ready for some questions? Why is eye contact very important? Yes.
Eye contact is very important because, you know why? I give you an example. When you are talking to somebody, you look at the wall, it means that you are talking to the wall.
Why are hand gestures important? Right.
To interact with the audience, so it makes them feel like they're connected with you.
Why is it important for people to feel connected?
Okay. It's important to feel connected with people because, like, if you're not feeling connected to a person, the person will be like, I don't get what you're saying.
Alright, but why do you think emotions are important?
Emotions are very important because, so for example, if you are saying a story and you say it's supposed to be a sad story, but then you say like this. Once upon a time, there was a car accident, a 3-man died, one because he got killed by the wolf. People also like, why what's that speaker because they don't feel what you are talking about.
Actually, speaking of competitions, all of you are actually national champions or amazing finalists, but were you always this articulate and confident with yourself?
Well, I was not that brave at first, but but my mind kept on saying, just chill, and speak. So I did it with a positive mindset, and I did my story perfectly.
I was never this brave, and I'm still a little bit shy. But last time, before I joined MIDP, I was really shy and I wasn't very good at socializing. This one time when I was out with my friend and his father, we were lining up to go to a restaurant, and then we saw this kid playing some game. After me and my friends started talking about it, then my friend's father said, why don't you ask him what game he's playing? Then I said, but isn't that weird? Then his father said, no, it's good to socialize. So me and my friend went over to talk to that kid. It was going really well. Then after that, it started getting really awkward. Then the kid said, can you guys leave me alone?
So why did you all decide to join MIDP?
I joined MIDP because I want to further improving all my soft skills, interpersonal skills, and critical thinking skills. I know MIDP is the perfect place for me to unleash my talents, a place where I can learn and get better every day.
I joined MIDP because actually I wasn't interested in public speaking or anything like that. But then my parents said I talk a lot, so they asked me to join public speaking. But when I joined public speaking, it was actually really fun and not at all how I expected it. And then after a while, I actually started enjoying MIDP and started wanting to go there every day.
Oh, that's good. I joined MIDP because I want to enhance my soft skills. I enjoy socializing with people, so MIDP is definitely the best place for me to express my feelings, my thoughts, and share my ideas with like-minded friends.
Okay, actually I've watched this video several times and I'm still impressed with how confident the kids are. Very well done, MIDP. Next, a little bit about Taylor's College. For 52 years, Taylor's College Lakeside campus has established itself as the best pre-university in Malaysia in academic excellence and track record for placing students into top universities of their choice. So Taylor's College offers several programs, which includes Cambridge A-Level or CAL, South Australian Certificate of Education, SACE. We have foundations, diploma, and professional programs. Taylor's College also believe in developing the youth of today for better tomorrow. And as a lecturer in Taylor's, I can confidently tell you that we here in Taylor's really focus on nurturing the mindset and character of our youthful students. That's why we have organized or get involved with many competitions, workshops, and campaigns that can really benefit youth, such as Youth PACT 2022. For your information, Youth PACT 2022 aims to play a significant role to platform youth-led causes by connecting you to change makers with the right tools to devise innovation solution and measure the impact of their campaign. Now let's relax and watch this teaser video, yeah?
Malaysia has amended the federal constitution to lower the voting age from 21 to 18.
Where do we stand as the youth of Malaysia?
Malaysia's education system has grown so segregated where many of our generation grew up without having the chance to interact and learn with those different from us.
They say that the youths are the future leaders, but I say youths are the current leaders.
Apakah kuasa anak muda dalam menentukan hala tuju negara?
I just want schools to be safe.
We envision a Malaysia where the youth are able to navigate differences and have the knowledge and skills needed to live, collaborate, and work with people of different kinds.
Who are we? We make up 28% of Malaysia's population. We care about what's happening around us.
I hope you realize that in each of these, and that itself is the greatest thing that you can do for the world, is to realize your own potential.
And we want change. In this 2-day online event, join youths across the nation. Participate in impactful conversations. Let your voice be heard.
So it's a small things. I think when we talk about wanting to create change, it is important to break down what change means.
Be part of the future.
The future is bright for one reason only, because you will grow up and you will be our future.
Join the Youth PACT now.
Okay, I also hope that you all are excited for our next workshop. But before we start the show, some house rules for everyone. For those of you who are on Zoom, please keep your camera off and stay muted at all times. For any questions and comments, please feel free to put them in the chat, which we are keeping an eye on. If you are on Facebook, you can still ask questions. Please head on over to the MIDP Facebook page and speak your mind in the comment sections of the live stream. By the way, we also have a survey for you to fill up. The link is being shared in the chat. We really hope that you will help us improve our sessions by filling up the survey form. You can tell us what you want to hear more in the future. Yeah. Now I would like to invite Mr. Rizal Rozhan to kick off the workshop on measuring the impact of your social justice advocacy campaign.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Mr. Rizal. Okay, a little bit about Rizal Rozhan before we start. Mr. Rizal has extensive experience in advocacy and training. He is currently the Assistant Vice President of Impact Malaysia and is in charge of developing impact management strategic priorities for diverse communities and innovative youth and community mobilization towards culturalizing social impact nationwide. Rizal has always been working with non-profit sectors and guide these sectors on how to influence social change in Malaysia in an impactful and meaningful ways. Mr. Rizal, thank you so much for coming and take it away.
Thanks, Mutakin. Thank you, MIDP. Thank you, Taylor's College. Thank you, all other partners who are together for the Youth PACT. And as Mutakin mentioned, I am going to be leading this session or this training on measuring your social impact advocacy. So hold on, let me just put on my slides and then so that all of you can probably understand better what I'm trying to say. All right. So I hope you all have your, have your lunch. I hope you are enjoying also. Okay. Am I sharing the right screen? I just need to ask people in the Zoom chat. Am I sharing the right screen?
Yep. Yes.
All
You
right,
can say
awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mutakin. Thank you, guys. All right, so this is about measuring the impact of your social justice advocacy campaigns. So as you can see from the videos earlier, youth are creating social impact or social justice changes in Malaysia, right? Youth are doing something good for Malaysia. But if you ask around right now to any youth on the street, what's the impact of them talking about things they care about? I think most of them would say it's very difficult to know the impact because we don't measure them. So today, my focus is on helping you how to measure the impact of your social justice advocacy campaign. I'm not going to go further into like frameworks, like difficult frameworks or difficult terms. I just want to share from my experience because a little bit about me. I am right now the Assistant Vice President of Impact Development in Impact Malaysia. Impact Malaysia is a semi-government organization that helps youth to culturalize impact in their work. So what's interesting about me is before I work for Impact Malaysia, I have 4 years experience of working in a human rights group or in an NGO. So as I was working in an NGO, in a human rights organization, I always felt, maybe every year I will ask myself, but okay, Rizal, stop what you're doing, think about what you're doing. Really, is there an impact of what you're doing? And in these thoughts, I sometimes I can feel quite tired because human rights in Malaysia is a huge fight, right? It's something that a lot of Malaysians would say, oh, human rights is Western ideals, it's a Western concept. Don't bring it to Malaysia. Malaysia has their own culture, it cannot fit the human rights culture. So the fights for human rights in Malaysia is very difficult and it can feel a bit huge. So what I realized from my human rights experience is I don't quite understand where I'm heading towards or what my actions are changing because I don't measure them. I don't measure them as much as I would want to. All right. So I hope whatever I'm sharing today will be helpful for everyone on the live session and also in this Zoom session. Yeah. So on our workshop today, there will be only 3 things we are focusing on today. All right. We will be learning or we'll be thinking about why we measure our impact. Number 2, we will be thinking or I will be sharing about what measuring our impact entail. What does it mean when somebody say you should measure your campaign in the impact of your campaign? Then I will explain that in number 2. And number 3, we will be focusing on how to measure the impact of our campaign. So how basically there's a lot of hands-on experience. For this one, I'm sorry for the live session viewers, you might not be involved in this, but for those who are in the Zoom session, yes, you will be doing this hands-on. All right. Okay. On the next slide. Now on my workshop flow, again, I remind everyone, we are only talking about these 3 questions, why we are doing this, what is measuring our impact and how we do this. And how we are going to go about it is there will be a lecture on why and what, or question 1 and 2. And then there will be a challenge, which is the number 3, how to do it, how to measure our impact. And then there will be a question and answer session for people in the Zoom chat. All right. Now, next one. Before we start though, now I'm going to give everyone about 3 minutes. go to this link, bit.ly/IM, capital letters PACT 2022. All right, so I'm going to put it in the Zoom chat here for folks who can help share in the live stream as well. Please do. bit.ly/IMPACT 2022. All right. Just copy and paste this link to your preferred browser. Click on it, you will see a form there. So in that form, what I want to see is basically your responses, because I want to know a little bit about the audience that I'm talking to today. Yeah, the people who I'm talking to. As I mentioned, our session will not be fully lectures. There will be a lot of back and forth. We will be talking to each other a lot. It's 2 o'clock, you know, a lot of you have had your lunch. You probably be full right now and quite, you know, tired. So I want you to be a little bit more active in my session, in my workshop. Now, I want to see how many of you have already answered the form. Okay. Can anyone indicate in the chat room? Tell me if you're done answering the form, or if you cannot find them. Yes, thank you, Povin. So for people in the live session, there's a chat in the Zoom session as well. And yeah, there's a link for the form in this Zoom session. Okay, my screen sharing is paused, I know right now. However, I want to see what's going on in the form. Why can't I see it? Okay. Anyway, I hope all of you have answered these 2 minutes, 1 more minute. Okay, I would need to stop share for a bit. I would need to yeah, I want to see from the form. Sorry, I'm obsessive like that. So I see there are 7 responses. Awesome. And then maybe I should share this screen with you all. Yeah, this one, right? So if you can see, as you can see, among our participants today, there are about 60% who said, maybe I've heard about how to measure my social justice advocacy campaigns. You know, some of them who knows is, they say it's important to measure our campaign because it's to achieve our cause, to better plan for future campaigns, to know how far we can influence people to make good change or to create change, you know. So a lot of people think, most people think that it's important. Maybe some of you also think it's very important to measure the impact of our campaigns. You know, one of you said, probably important, probably not so. Okay, most of you said you've not learned about impact measurement before. Okay, so I think it's the best thing for me is to maybe share about measuring impact from a more personal side, you know, not from a theoretical, not from a framework side. Because if you were to Google impact measurement now, I'm pretty sure you will find 20 or 30 different ways, methods, or different organization creating their own method. For me, I think I learn best, and I hope you also learn best if it relates to your own personal experience. All right. So let me see how I can present this again. Okay. All right. So I know a little bit about you. Most of you said you've never learned how to measure your impact. So I'm glad to hear that. I hope this will be helpful for you today. Now, on number one. So we are going back to number one. Yeah. Why do we measure our impact? So on measuring our impact, actually, it's quite interesting because I've been working in Impact Malaysia for about 2.5 years now. And I met a lot of young people, youth who want to create change in their own communities. They are very gung-ho. They feel like, yeah, I want to do everything I can to help my own community. But the things I hear about impact measurement, yeah, is one, this is such a waste of time. Oh my God, there's so many things to do. Measuring our impact, I need to think about A, B, C, D, all of this. I need to think about my goal, all of that. It's so tiring for me. And then I've heard of this as well. I want to be in the field. I don't want to be measuring impact and doing it from a laptop, I don't want to be working from office thinking about what I am doing. I want to actually be doing things. I want to be actually campaigning for real issues on the ground. There are also people who said, this is so difficult. Why can't we just move on to the next issue? Because if we are focusing on measuring our impact, then we cannot move on to the next issue. In my kampung, in my community, there's so many issues. There's so many issues that we need to solve. If we are stuck doing measurement, how can we move on to the next issue? When you hear these things, don't you feel like, yeah, actually they have a point. Actually, why are we measuring our impact? Why are we slowing down our work? Why aren't we doing real things on the ground, right? Now, I have a rebuttal for that. The reason why people always feel like measuring impact is such a waste of time is because they don't have their big why. They don't have a big why of why they're doing their impact. They don't understand why they're doing they are measuring the impact. Yeah. So I want to ask you all, when you think about measuring your impact, just now we heard from our friends, we want to know how well we are actually affecting the community, we want to know how well we are actually being influential. Those are great answers, by the way. Why do you think you're measuring your impact? Is it to fulfill funders' requirement? Maybe may I know some of you who are in this Zoom chat, I want to see from a show of hands only. I don't know how to make this into a gallery. Maybe just raise your hand if you think that measuring your impact is actually to fulfill funders' requirement. Now, anyone raising their hand? Okay, no. Okay, I see one. I see two, three. Yeah, some people think that, oh, actually I'm measuring the impact because it's funders' requirement. I have to do this because of funders. Is it for fun? Anyone wants to raise their hand for this? Okay, 3 people think that it's actually fun to measure our impact. All right. We actually don't know why. We don't know why we're measuring our impact, but we heard from Rizal from Impact, it's important to measure our impact. Okay. So there are a few people who raise their hand as well. Yeah. For me, my big why on measuring impact is, I think number one is the most important is you have to treat that knowledge about your initiative is power. Any information, any data about your initiative, about your campaign is very important. It's to be well informed about what changes we are actually creating. So like one of the participants answered in the getting to know you form, yeah, it's to know how well we're actually doing. How are we actually doing something? That is why we have to measure our impact. Yeah, it's to gain that knowledge. It's to gain that data. Now, second one, Our second big why is, I think, life's lesson. So similarly, in your initiative, it's also always a continuous lesson. Measuring your impact will help you not only to understand what you're good at, it also helps you to understand where you're doing wrong, or is it you're doing wrong, how can you improve, how you can improve. So all of that is are lessons that are vital for your own organization. So if we were to go back to like this kind of talks, right? These things that I hear, if they did not, if they continue to just campaign on real issue because they need to be on the ground and they don't measure the impact, what will happen? They will never know what they're good at and what they're bad at. What they're good at here and what they are bad at. So they will always continue making same mistakes. I think that's my fear for a lot of youth groups if they don't measure the impact, right? And then last thing, number 3 is practicing what we preach. Measuring our impact is actually a practice of accountability, because as organizations, we actually use a lot of monies that we pull from funders. From it doesn't matter whether it's your members' money, your organization members' money, where you pool money, maybe each of you give 100 ringgit, and then all of you say raise 2,000 ringgit to do something, to create a social justice advocacy campaign. Yeah. So measuring your impact is actually being accountable to the money that you are spending. Yeah. So we as youth, social justice advocacy, warriors, all of this, we demand accountabilities from authorities, from the government even, right? But are we practicing it? My argument is, if we do not measure our impact, we are actually not really practicing what we have preached. All right. So understand your big why, then you will have more motivation to calculate or to measure your impact. Now, on the second part, we are focusing of my lecture is we are basically understanding what measuring our impact entails. So like I mentioned earlier, if you were to go online and then search on how to measure the impact of my campaign, there will be a lot of frameworks to learn. There will be a lot of toolkit you can find from all over the world. There are Nesta, there are DIY toolkits, there are theory of change frameworks, there are social SROI, social return on investment frameworks. All of these are great. But for me, understanding or measuring our impact, it has to be as easy as breathing for our organization. It has to be a practice that we can practice every day in order to be consistent in measuring our impact. What I mean by this is, for example, if your organization focuses on advocating for the rights of persons with disabilities, most of your activity will be creating workshops, talking to governments, talking to people on the street, raising awareness through, Facebook Live or Zoom live sessions, right? These are all your activities. Your measurements, also the activities you do to measure the impact of your activities, it has to be as easy as creating these activities as well. Am I making sense? I hope you understand this. Yeah, it has to be woven, or it has to be built in your organization so that it is easy and it becomes like sort of like a second nature for your organization. Yeah. So I won't focus much on the toolkits. I won't focus much on the frameworks. what I'll be focusing on is the 5 steps I feel that are easy for us to follow, and then to try and practice it for our own organizations. Now, the first practice, these are the 5 practices. 1, you understand, you live, you breathe your campaign goal. Secondly, identify the indicators of success for your organization. And then you set the frequency of how frequent, how often do you want to measure the impact of your campaign. Number 4, you decide the method, how you want to actually get the data to measure your impact. And then number 5, organizing your data. Quite easy, right? I want to see responses. It's actually very easy, yeah? All right, so on the, why can't I see myself? Okay. on the first component, or on the first element of measuring your impact is understanding your campaign goal. Sorry. I cannot go back, is it? Okay. So understanding your campaign goal. Have you and your team asked these questions? What's your goal? What's your what does success look like for your team? Have you and your team asked this? Can I get some response in the Zoom chat actually, or even in the Facebook? If there's any response from Facebook, please put them here. A request to the secretariat, sorry. But can I ask in the Zoom, how many of you and your team know what's your goal? Can you maybe share your goal, your organization's goal, or what success look like for your organization? I'll give you 1 minute to respond. Just type it in the Zoom and then I will read it out. All right. If there is no answer for this, it's okay. Then there's no sharing of what is a campaign goal. Okay, so I see here, Belisha asked, what if I don't have any organization? Any organization you like, or you're thinking of any initiative you feel like it's interesting, Belisha? Yi Jin Lo asks for a better Malaysia. Okay, the goal is for a better Malaysia. All right. Not part of an organization, it's fine too. But basically, if you are part of any organization like Jin Lo, right? Your goal must not, it cannot be as broad as better Malaysia, right? In what part, right? Maybe your goal will be clearer if you put it or if you try to focus on a few issues or areas. So I'll give examples later. All right. Okay. So keep the answers coming in the Zoom chat, but I want to focus actually here on understanding your campaign goal. To understand your campaign goal, it's easy if you have a mission, if you look at the mission and vision of your organization. Yeah, so if say change mindset, women empowerment, yeah. Belisha said united country. Yeah, these are visions, a united country, right? A vision is the extension of your purpose, your organization purpose, where it shows an ideal state. of what will happen to the community or to the country if you have fulfilled your purpose. Yeah, so that's what it explains here lah. Mission is a mission that defines your purpose. A vision is a vision that extends your mission into an ideal future state. So like what Belisha wrote in this comment section, a united country that has better education, that has comprehensive education for the next generation. That's a vision, right? Sure. All right. Okay, that is a vision, but a mission is what your purpose is. So I want to see from the comments, I think a, a mission statement would be reaching larger audience and changing mindsets. Yeah, that is a mission. Your purpose is you want to reach to a larger audience and changing mindsets on women empowerment, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah. All right. So there's one who volunteers with Taylor's Communities CSR, and success for them is when they see people who they are beneficiaries, actually they're refugees, kids they help are happy, it makes them as volunteers happy as well, right? Yeah, so to educate others in regards to everyday matters, that's a mission statement. But a vision would be what it means if that ideal state, if you reach that ideal state, right? So I want to give you examples of good missions and visions. This would be to help your organization better clarify your goals as well. Because if you have a clarified goal, it's easy for you to measure how to achieve your goal. Is that logical? So increase disability awareness, is it a vision? Yes, I think there will be ways to play around with the word, but that's essentially a vision. Increasing awareness on this disability, that is a mission, but increased, meaning that the awareness is already high, that's a vision. Yeah. Yes. All right. So on my example, number one is on Amazon. If you look at the mission, is we strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices. That's exactly what they're doing, right? That's their mission. That's what they're doing. The best available selection and the utmost convenience. Yeah, that's a mission. But their vision and future ideal state for them would be to be Earth's most customer-centric company. So right now they are America's most customer-centric company. Maybe in the future they can be Earth's most customer-centric. Maybe I think that's their vision. Yeah, where the customers can find and discover anything they want to buy online. That's how, if you have these kind of clear-cut visions, it's easy for your organization to try and achieve them, because everyone is on the same page, right? On Tesla, their mission is to accelerate, to speed up the world's transition to sustainable energy. And then their vision is to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century. They're still trying to reach that vision, right? By driving the world's transition to electric vehicle. So that is like examples of good missions and vision. So on number one, the first component of measuring your impact is to identify, to understand your campaign goal. Because from understanding your campaign goal, what you'll understand is actually what impact you want to create. Like Tesla here, the impact they want to create is to the transition of cars from, focusing on fuel to renewable energy. Yeah. So understand your goal, because you will understand the impact you want to create. Then we go to number 2, which the second component. Sorry, I'm going to go back for a while, for a bit. So like over here, right? Over here, we understand, if we understand our goal, then we have to identify the indicators of success for our organization, right? To identify the indicators of success, you have to try this with your goal. How do you do that? Think about what success means for your organization. Then, if you know the thing you use to measure the success or the level of your success in your organization, that is your indicator. Okay, this is a bit difficult, yeah, but it might be easy if you can try it on a spreadsheet, but it's okay. That one we will do it later, yeah. So what is this? An indicator? An indicator is a thing that indicates the state or the level of something. So on unrelated note, for example, how do you know that someone is rich? Can I get answers on the Zoom chat here? How do you know that someone is rich? Yana says he or she has a Tesla by their power of spending, by the spending power, yeah? By the things they show, living standards, mentality. Okay, so whatever you're writing here, yeah, these are indicators. You get it? It's a thing that indicates the state or the level of someone's richness, their living standards. That's an indicator. Their education, their speak, the indicator to their richness, maybe, but I don't quite know. I think the easiest indicator for richness, it would be how much money do they have in the bank? Marty said, looking at their income, asset, investment, and consumption. Those are great indicators to know if someone is rich. Right, Marty? Income, expenses, assets, not expenses, liabilities. Yeah, income, assets, liabilities. I think that would show you how rich someone is. Sometimes they can be rich, they can show off all their cars, but rupanya all the cars are all liabilities. They haven't finished paying it. For example, lah, yeah, they're all loans. So those are indicators of someone's richness, someone's wealth. Sorry, yeah. So with your own campaigns, how do you know that your campaign is a success? Think about how do you measure it? What is it you use to measure that success? For example, if we go back to some of your answers here, right? I want everyone to, we want to raise awareness, we want to raise awareness on people's, we want to raise awareness on disability, on persons with disability. Then the success would be how many people actually are aware of persons with disabilities and the challenges they face. Now, I think after this, the third component that I'm going to speak about, I will speak a little bit about baseline. But there's a way to measure how you're actually moving forward, right? So that is indicators. But if indicators is still very difficult for your own topic, what you can do is you can go to this SDG website. The link is here. I think we can click here, and then I think you can see from my screen now, right? I'm opening this SDG website, and then let's say you click on goal 2, right? You click more info here. What you will see is goal 2 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, and then if you click on targets and indicators, it shows you the world's target for 2030, 2.1 is to end hunger and ensure access by all people, particularly poor and people in vulnerable situation, including infants, to safe, nutritious, sufficient food all year round, right? And then their indicators are here. How frequent is undernourishment in the world? Yeah, how the prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity. These are indicators for them. So if you have a campaign, if you have a social advocacy campaigns, try look for the targets and indicators from SDGs. You might be able to find it because in the SDGs there are 17 goals. So there are so many issues talked about. And for issues like such as the persons with disabilities issues, it's actually interwoven into all the goals. So you can, if you search, probably, you use the search function here, you probably will find things on persons with disabilities, yeah, and other marginalized groups now. All right, so I will go back to this. Let me find why can't I? Oh, yes. All right. So far, how are we doing, everyone? Yes, or Mati says that how many people participated in a survey to test how much their awareness has increased. Exactly. So why do you think I had a survey earlier on? There's a reason, yeah, because at the end of this workshop also there's a survey for everyone to fill in. So I will see the changes. Sorry, Mati, you missed the survey. I think I can try and find the link here in the Zoom session. Yeah. Oh, I can't. But somebody please. Yeah, thank you, Pavin. So Pavin has shared the link for that one. Now on the third element of what it means to measure our impact, which is the frequency setting, right? Our frequency setting on measuring our impact. Now, the reason why a lot of people say, why do I keep on measuring my impact is because they don't do their frequency setting as well. Because if you do your frequency setting, what happens is it just becomes as easy as running your programs, because it's as important as running your programs or your activities in your campaigns. So I get this question a lot. How often do we need to measure the impact of our campaigns? The quick answer is depending on your organization's capacity. But that doesn't mean you don't measure the impact of your campaign, all right? So just because your organization has 2 people only, you don't want to measure the impact of your campaign. So don't do that. What you have to do is to try and be smart about it. If you know that you don't have much capacity to measure the impact of your campaigns as frequent as you want, make it more longer, make it more what do they call that? Berkala. Berkala in English is periodical. Yeah. So the most important times for measuring is before you start something, before you start any workshop, before your trainings. It's the best time to get your baseline. Yeah. Why do you need to get your baseline? Why do you think you need to get your baseline? So, for example, like what Mati said in the comment, like, if your activity is a training, the best way for you to see the change that happens with your participants is through the change of their knowledge before they join your session and after they join. Yes, so you compare that, and it's as easy as that, because you like I mentioned earlier, I have that survey I put in earlier, the BITLYIMPACT though. That exact survey is what I use to compare. that is my baseline. And then immediately, right before we end this session, I will give you another survey. It's very easy. You just have to answer like 10 or less questions. And then from there, sorry. And then from there, you would know the difference in knowledge for your participants. But it's because what we are doing is a social matter, right? It's something that's abstract. It's not as easy as, for example, putting oil or gas in your car and then you see the gas becomes decrease every day or decrease every time you use your car. It's not as easy as that. It's not as pure science as that. Because this is a social science, you need to keep on monitoring what happens to your participant and then see if there's any impact on their participation in your programs. If there's any substantial impact to in their lives. So that is where you set the frequency. Again, on your frequency setting, it has to be before and immediately right after your program. But after that, it depends on your organization capacity. So if you have more people and you have a dedicated person who can do just impact management or impact measurement of your organization, do it a little bit more often, but also do not spook your participant. Do not make them fear you, because if you keep on getting back to them without telling them why, the purpose of you reaching out to them, then I think a lot of participants won't like to be a subject of your impact measurement. Yeah, so that's frequency setting. It's quite easy, right? And then deciding your methods. Deciding your methods of getting the data of your impact measurement is as easy as observation. This is your usual observation from your field trip. So for example, you go to a community, you help an orang asli community, your observations from before and after your programs, before and probably 1 year after your program to see the impact. Yeah. Then you can also put in the evidence to your methods of getting the data for your impact measurement. Yeah, there's desk research. This one is to get publicly available data. As you know, in Malaysia, may be a little bit difficult to get publicly available data, but we are working towards that. Yeah, so maybe some of the data you can't get publicly. That's why you would need to be on the field to get more understanding on the real situation on the ground. Yeah. Usually people would do desk research for their baseline, so they understand on the surface level what's happening in one community, and then they would go to the community, do their even baseline research or do a recce, and then from the recce they would see what's happening on the ground, how they can help, so on and so forth. And then interviews will get you in-depth understanding of changes, of what's good, what's bad in your campaigns, understand the patterns of your beneficiaries and key stakeholders view. Key stakeholders maybe also are able to help you with understanding the impact of your programs. The evidence here is easy recordings, notes, and signed copy. You know why I put evidence here? It's very important because when you're doing your measurement, impact measurement, it cannot be something that's out of nothing. Because if one day somebody asks you to just, to show proof of your impact, and then you don't have evidence, that's problematic, right? That will severely affect your organization's credibility. All right, there's focus group discussions. This one is a little bit different from individual interviews because for focus group discussion, you focus on one focus group. That's why it's called focus group lah. One focus group. So let's say male youth 16 to 20 years old, there's a focus group. And then you understand their patterns, their behaviors, their wants, needs, all that. Evidence is almost similar to interview as well. And then lastly, surveys. Most famous one because it's easy. And yes, Mati, you were in a focus group discussion. Now you know why. It's actually to understand the patterns. Yeah. So survey responses, these are your evidence for your surveys. This is what you did earlier as well to help me with my baseline, to understand a little bit about my baseline, right? But it only uncovers the surface level of understanding, because what you can see is numbers and people's answers maybe here and there. But to get a deeper understanding of what they like, what they don't like, all that, it's best to go through interviews or focus group discussions. Yeah. All right. And then lastly is organizing our data. The easiest way to do this is actually using a spreadsheet. Do you understand how easy it is for my training? We just have to do, we just have to use a spreadsheet, and then we are measuring our impact already. How do we do this? See, you have your goal or the outcome you want to achieve, and then you put in an indicator next to it, in the column next to it. For example, here, let's say my outcome is to win a football match, right? As a team, my indicators are how many goals do I score, how many we concede. That's the indicator of whether I will win or lose a football match, right? It has to be more goals, more goals scored, less goals conceded. How frequent do I have to measure this? Only at the end of 90 minutes. If I measure it on the 45th minutes, it's still it's only half time, right? It doesn't say who wins a football match. How do I measure this? Observation, and then the method to verify. There will be a scoreboard. There will be referees. Sorry, I forgot to put it here, right? So this is the easy way, but using a not related kind of example. What I want you all to do now is more fun. All right. How do we measure our impact? We understand our campaign goal. We identify the indicators of success. We set the frequency. How often do we want to measure our impact? We decide on our method, which method we want to use, and then we organize our data using the spreadsheet like this. Easy, right, everyone? If it's easy. So for the third section of my workshop today, it will be a it will be a more discussion and group session. So for this, thank you very much to our live stream viewers. I hope you had a good time. If you have any question, please email me at rizal@impact.my and leave any comments on the comment section. Thank you very much. See you next time. All right.